Has anyone ever gotten the door close button on an elevator to actually do anything? It's not a matter of the door moving faster. It's just that it takes forever to even start closing in the first place. And pressing the door close button doesn't seem to do a damn thing to make it go faster. But that's not really what I wanted to talk about. Let's do this. Hey everybody, BionicDance here. So, I want to ask a question I feel is actually quite relevant. You see, I was having a conversation with some theists a little while ago, and when we were trying to define just what a god was in the first place, I could not seem to get them to let go of the Judeo-Christian model. You know, that the god had to be like an immortal, universe-creating being that was all-powerful and omnipresent and all of that stuff. And I kept trying to point out to them that there have been gods in other cultures that don't fit that model, that are different. Like take for example, okay, does a god have to be immortal? Well, I'd say no. Gods don't seem to age exactly, but there are plenty of stories about a god being killed, either by another god or a demon, or heck, I've got plenty of sci-fi fantasy stories on my bookshelf where some guy gets hold of a sword called the God Slayer and takes the head off of the evil god or whatever, I don't know. But, you know, no god is necessarily immortal. Unaging, like they're not vulnerable to age, but they do seem to be vulnerable to damage, some of them. And so, you know, is a god immortal? No, not necessarily. Does a god have to be universe creating? No. In fact, a god isn't necessarily even all-powerful. I mean, take the Norse pantheon or the Egyptian pantheon. You'll have gods that have spheres of influence. You'll have a goddess of love, a god of nature, a god of fire, a goddess of the stars, that kind of thing. You know, so a god is not necessarily all-powerful. Does it require faith to believe in a god? Hell no. I mean, there are plenty of gods out there that are at least alleged to have interacted directly with humanity, giving people quests or putting curses on them. Hell, even Yahweh has allegedly interacted with people. I mean, the shit he put Job through? Just saying. And so, okay, is a god supernatural? Well, okay, there I think we can all agree, yes, a god has to be supernatural. A god has to take the laws of nature and bend them all to shit. I mean, that's just part and parcel with being a god. If you don't have that, I'm not sure if you've got a god at all, right? But then I have to ask, what's the difference between a god and a wizard? Or a god and a fairy? Or a god and a demon? How do you tell the difference between those? I mean, what makes a god so special that it needs its own category? If there are other magical beings that can share traits in common with a god. I mean, if you had a non-aging but not necessarily immortal creature that can use magic, how is that not a god? I mean, I think Q from Star Trek The Next Generation made this same point in the series premiere. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Star Trek, but I've seen that episode, and that seemed to be what he was saying. So, yeah, and, well, what is a god really? That's my question. How do you actually define a god? I'm actually asking. Comments below. Catch you later, gang. Science. If you're doing it right, sometimes you'll find out you're wrong.